Hi, I'm Stephanie, here from I'm Aware.
And I'm Ebony, and I represent ENDT's Ebonyonics.
And together we are
make Group Economics. See the shirts? You like that? Group Econ? Yeah. And as before we mentioned, our main goal is just to bring about the fact that perception drives everything, and how your perception can affect the things you do, how you act, just what you think about, just how you perceive everything in the world. That's what perception. So we're shedding light on perception using different topics. And right now, our ultimate goal as a group, we started off as just printing T-shirts, and we said, you know what, let's make this bigger.
Yes.
We were like, let's just make this bigger. We want to help people, not just print T-shirts, not just make money. Don't get me wrong, we love it. We got kids, so we will definitely like to survive and eat good. But we wanted to think about how can we help others.
Yes.
So what we did was, our main goal for Group Economics is networking with like-minded successors to accomplish economic growth and helping others to obtain skills, because it's just absolutely necessary.
Absolutely necessary.
It's just absolutely necessary. So what we do is, anytime you buy a shirt or any of our gear, that money and those proceeds go towards helping less fortunate. So we do things like coat drives, we do things like at Mobile Friendsgiving, and then we do a book bag drive with his name, you can call him whatever. Wolfpack Towing, Mobley. You got Jerome. He's known by many names. Dollar Bill, but he's known by many, many names. But with his collaboration, we do a book bag drive every year in August.
Yes.
And in November and December, we try to do a give back to our community and give out warm weather wear, foods, and just different meals, so that we can help the less fortunate, you know? Everybody needs a little help.
Everybody needs some help.
Okay, so again, we're talking about perception and how it drives your life and your choices. And previously, the last time we talked about the perception and how it can create
thugs, traumatized humans unable to grieve.
Yeah, so yes. Today we want to touch on how the thug, the traumatized human unable to grieve, can become haters. Yeah, you ever had a hater?
Yes.
Have you ever been a hater?
I have. I'm Stephanie, and I've been a hater and been hated on.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I was a sore loser, so that was definitely a hater. We're going to touch more on that sore loser thing, but haters essentially, the acronym kind of means having anger towards everyone's rise to success. So if you've ever just, you looked at someone and be like, oh, they succeeding, how they succeeding, and you just took that to an extreme, then you might have been hating. You might have been a hater, and the reason we're bringing it up is because, again, think about it. They say if you don't have haters, then you ain't reached that level of success yet, because they said you should be having haters. They said that's not even a bad problem to have, because that means someone's
paying attention.
Somebody's paying
to your
attention.
Growth. Yes.
They're looking. They're watching you.
Yes.
So the traumatized human that's unable to grieve ultimately becomes a hater, because they don't know how to grieve, and then they don't know how to take certain things when it comes to somebody rising to success.
Yes, and their level of experience and just their small rises to success, or reaching a higher success than someone else, and someone hates on them and they're not sure why.
Yeah, so we did some research, and again, remember, everything that we say, we've done research, we've looked at it, we're not self-proclaimed, so you can always comment, like, share. Please share. If you have some comments and something you want to talk about, hey, let us know. But getting into the topic of the haters, it's a lot of things that can be hating. As I mentioned before, being a sore loser can be a form of hating. Jokes can be a form of hating. Like, somebody might throw, like, you got that little business still, like they trying to throw you up under the, but like that little business, like don't put little on nothing.
Don't add no extra words.
Yeah,
please.
Don't add that on what I'm going. I give you a little funky 20 back. Like, oh, it was funky when you gave it back, but it wasn't funky when I gave it to you. Like, so, and then the anger can be a form of hating. Like, your anger, you don't know why. I just had an incident. I was just telling stuff about an incident that my son had in school, and there was a young lady. He's on the dance team. My son, like I've mentioned him before, he's a great kid. He's doing great things. He's got good grades. He's involved in like everyday peer mediation type things. He's a dancer. And he was shy, so I didn't think he would ever become a dancer. But he's a dancer, and he does this cheer program now. So, and he's just always in something, but it's always in something positive. So
always living in his greatness.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, I'm like, you know what? I like this. At first I wasn't sure, and I'm like, you know what? I like that he's confident enough to do what it is that he wants to do. So arises from that confidence and that greatness arises
haters.
Yeah. So he had an incident in school, and we don't even know where it stemmed from. We found out kind of actually today. We actually found out what the issue was, and basically what it was is that he had been doing good in school. He had been getting accepted to these teams. He had been doing great on his presentations. It was just, and then he had started getting more friends outside of this one particular friend, and that friend pretty much started hating. She went crazy, and then because of disruption, and he goes to a pretty good school, and they don't tolerate bullying, fighting, none of that. They don't tolerate none of that. So what ended up happening was he had to be sent home, and they had to have a mediation. So I explained to him that you have a lot to lose, and since you have a lot to lose, you have to handle things differently than others. That's just like the president of the United States. He can't go out here and just sock somebody in their face. He has to take precautions. So when you're at a higher position, you have to hold yourself at a higher regard, and you're going to have haters because they're watching you rise. Yeah. So we found out that today, police can figure out she was in the hallway screaming, dropping book bags, talking about she was going to beat everybody up, and talking about he was with his new group of friends. And they were working on a project together, and they had been in dance on his dance team together, and he was walking through the hallway, like she literally followed them through the hallway. He stopped one friend from fighting, and then the next thing I know, she's like, I'm gonna beat all y'all, and she cursing, calling out names and stuff, and he like, well, who was you talking to? Because I've already told my child, you can defend yourself. Don't throw the first punch, but you're allowed to defend yourself. Definitely. Don't be out here being no sucker. Mama ain't raised no suckers. So she basically admitted to the fact that, well, I just felt like you were acting different now that you have these new friends. And all of that anger, that her being traumatized, turned into her hating and just making things hard for everybody. So he missed out on a presentation that day. He had to miss out for the rest of the school. She got to do her presentation, but she premeditated all of this. Went and told teachers, it's about to be a fight. Called her mama and everything, and then my kid called me she said something to me. I was like, well, who you talking to? And I had to explain to him, he's not used to that, because in my environment and in my world, in the world household I raised, when you do something good, it's praised. It's not, oh, you think you better.
No.
Right.
We honor the good as well as acknowledge the bad. However, how did the situation go in the end with your son? Was the friendship able to be dissolved? Was he able to accomplish anything? Was it a lesson learned ultimately?
So we talked extensively yesterday about the incident, and because the first day he was a little upset, then he calmed down. So his lesson learned was that his lesson that he took from it was that he can't change how somebody else's feels, and so he has to keep being great. But he knows that he has to change his responses to certain things, meaning sometimes you just got to walk away. You might not even need to get the clarification. Sometimes it's best to just walk away. And that since he does have so much to lose, he's seen in hindsight, he could have not been a Premier there anymore. He could have got kicked off of the team. Mm-hmm. He could have lost scholarships because now you have if you would have had a suspension on your record, that's something someone would look at. Colleges could look at that. So he's now looking back and is like, yeah, I got a lot to lose. And this particular person, he had given us an iPhone to. I don't even got an iPhone. They all got iPhone. I ain't got no iPhone. And he giving away iPhones he didn't buy.
Right.
But he gave an iPhone. I had given rise to this person. We had literally poured into this person. And so I told him, I said, sometimes your best is not going to be good enough for people. And because they're so traumatized, it's nothing you can do. Sometimes giving somebody more of something that they don't appreciate, it turns into it can turn into anger. Like I said, it's that hating. It can turn into anger. It can turn into disdainment. It can turn into
a lot of hidden aggression.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of aggression, and there's so many different factors of anger. over 10 different forms of anger, from aggression to being overwhelmed with anger to being just an open, angrily person all the time to being judgmental and having your anger issues to so many different circumstances that will lead you to get angry based off of someone else's success.
Right.
And you're not comprehending it to the best of your knowledge. You just going off of your level of understanding, and then that puts you in a situation where you have a double consequence that's ultimately negative. You losing a friend, you losing good communication, great sources, all based off of who someone hangs around.
Right.
Everyone grows.
Yeah.
Everyone grows.
Yeah.
Yes.
It brings us to the point of cognitive bias. Have you ever heard of that? I don't know. So it's a big fancy word, but cognitive bias. It's just basically it's a limitation, and how it limits you is it's just your thought process and the way that you tend to the way your brain simplifies information and filters it through your personal experiences and preferences. So if all you've had is a hard life, everything that you do seems hard.
Yeah.
If you've had the easy life, like my son, he ain't gonna say he got it out the mud. He got degrees, LLCs, keys, and all types of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's not gonna have to worry about that. But for
his
him,
struggle might be different though.
Yeah. So his struggle is he didn't understand why was this happening. He couldn't get that. It was really hurtful for him because he's like, it was just cool. It was all good just a week ago. About a week ago, he like, I don't understand. So for him, his cognitive bias was like, everything's all hunky dory and great. We're all doing great. We're all still cool. We talk. I'm not as close to you as I was.
Yeah.
But sometimes you outgrow people, and that's the hardest part about life. So
it is.
It creates that. So with your cognitive bias will create. And it's the way that you're going to prioritize large pieces of information. So she's seeing him just being great, being here, doing this with this person. He had a brunch one time. She wasn't at the brunch. And his new friends were at the brunch. And he's going places and parties and stuff like that. And then after their little dance thing, they go to the beach. And, before she was coming and now she's not. So it's like her processing that information, her cognitive bias was fight, not flight.
Yeah.
It was fight. We got a problem.
Yeah. All because of her level of understanding instead of, sometimes you don't want to fit in to that new group of people.
Exactly.
And she was just comfortable with where they were at, but to each rise of success is levels of growth, and not everybody comes with you. Think about how much weight that is.
It is.
That's a lot of weight, and some people can't carry nothing but about 5-6 pounds, and some can carry about 500 pounds.
And with that said, it's sad because it was as if she couldn't understand, and then he couldn't understand, so it created conflict. Yeah. And conflict is not always bad because we could have a disagreement with somebody,
because there's resolution with conflict. Yes.
What's reps?
Recognize every possible solution.
Reps. So when you see us wearing a rep shirt, just know it means it got several meanings, and it's coined by this lovely lady here. But reps, what you have to recognize every possible solution and find different ways. And the crazy part about the whole situation was they're both peer mediators. So they could have sat down at any time and just mediated.
Yeah. But because it was something deeper than that. It is. It's obviously something deeper that will come out. But right now she just haven't. Yeah.
She's unable to grieve for whatever it is, and it's sad. But it's a lesson learned from him, and I told him, you forgive.
An early lesson to learn from him too, which is great.
16.
Which is great. 16, but it's levels to it. It could be a toddler classroom, and they show aggression all the time. All the time. A new kid come in to show and tell. It's levels of it to high school, even at your job. I promote this woman gets promoted all the time, and I'm excited every time. I don't feel she rains in my parade or nothing. It just gives me more drive. It makes me feel the love and hey, she's a go-getter. She's always thriving and striving in me. Oh, I'm worried about this. I got this. I got that. Like Eb is already written for you. If they put you in a position to level up, she's always leveled up every single time. So, now, one time did you not tell me that you was up for a position that you did not get?
So I appreciate her
I love that.
Right there.
Yeah.
And I would be honest with you, that's just my ADHD working at its best because I can't sit still for a long period of time. So once I learn something, it's like, come on, give me the new thing to learn. Yeah. So I'm going to try. And I'm one of those people that again, cognitive bias. My thing is, I don't think anything's hard. People ask me that question all the time and I'd be like,
yeah. What is hard? Yeah.
I said hard is relative.
Yes.
Because when I had to first learn how to tie my shoe when I was 3-4 years old, it was hard.
Yeah.
And now I don't even be looking and tying it.
Right.
I'd be like, what you say?
Professional. Right. From zipping your mouth up with your zipper to going and having something in your hand and still zipping up. Skills. So
very much skills. T-shirts was hard.
Yeah.
These lovely shirts you see right now.
Yes.
It looked like, she probably did that in 2 seconds.
Right.
It took me a while. Right. It's all hard. Relative is hard. Again, it's all about your cognitive bias and how you process that information, which drives your perception.
Yes.
So remember, our big umbrella is perception, and we're just breaking perception down into different categories and showing how that some of these things, like perception is your communication, your boundaries, your self-discipline. It can drive down to your love language. Because if your cognitive bias is, I want to be, I like touch. And we ain't touchy-feely, so just know that. Yeah. So if my cognitive bias is touch, and she don't shake my hand or put her hand on my shoulder, I might be mad. Like, Stephanie, I thought we was friends. Yeah. You didn't even shake my hand today. Yes. But I know it's a silly thing, but it could be something as simple as that. Right. And that young person, theirs might have been words of affirmation.
I was gonna say words of affirmation or. Not even affection, quality time. That's what I was gonna say. Quality time.
And he wasn't spending that time with him, and it gave that her cognitive bias jumped in, and it made her perceive the information as, oh, you're not my friend no more. And
extra aggression, towards a simple situation where they could have both lost a lot when it's all said and done. However, thank God they're better than that. So that one person was way better than that. It didn't excel, but it was a great lesson learned. Plain and simple.
It's about becoming the change and accepting change.
Yeah.
And if you can't accept change, you can't become change. You have to learn how to embrace it. You have to learn how to break some of those cognitive biases up. Make your cognitive bias. Cognitive biases have to be bad. Like I said, I don't think things are hard. People ask me hard, and I'd be like, I don't know how to answer that. They think I'm being like snobbish, and I'm like, no, I really don't know what hard is, because I'm pretty sure everybody's like, Mom, being a mom is hard. When people kept saying that to me, I'm like, I don't know. I just do it every day. I don't really think about it.
It's definitely levels. It's all about responses. Like you said, in parenting is what you make it. And then on top of that, is you're different as you grow, and you grow with your children, is levels to it. Yeah. So with having already 3 10-year-olds now, I raised 3 different 10-year-olds 3 different ways because they're 3 different individuals.
That's
and now one is almost 18, then I have a 12, and I have an almost 15-year-old. I can tell you for sure that my almost 15 ain't nowhere close to the maturity level as my almost 18-year-old.
Is that centuries or decades? Because she's saying she did 3 of those, or whatever, which one ever. I don't know if that's centuries or I think that's decades, because decades is 10. So I believe she just said she did 3 decades worth of work on some bull. Don't forget, we got boys.
Yes.
So the challenge is always up for it.
Challenge accepted. I'm all for it.
Yeah, like I got. It's another funny one for my youngest son. They play this game. I guess they do this little thing like this or whatever. I don't know. And he happened to put it down by his waist, and he's like, he said these nuts, and the teacher was just so appalled by it, and I'm like. He's a young little boy.
It's recess talk.
And it was recess. It wasn't like he was in the classroom running around. It was recess. And they had like a picnic day today, so they was outside running around all day. And he's like,
"You been talking about the squirrel gathering this."
All I could tell him was
keep their mind out the gutter though. Like
was it really cognitive bias? She looking at it all nasty. He like, I just said these nuts. What you
outside.
So I had to have a talk with him, and I told him like he's a boy, and my cognitive bias is you a boy, you gonna do goofy, crap, stupid stuff like that because they just do that.
Kind of hear with it anyway. Like I hear it all,
he's
but
still
sometimes
innocent,
it goes
right?
off.
He's still innocent, and it's like you want them to be able to express themselves, and it wasn't like he was running around and he was being perverted. You made it perverted. We make things what they are.
Yes.
So, and I think that
got him questioning something so simple. Like, yeah, even if it was like that, they take it to a whole nother level as adults sometimes to the point. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
She was a hater.
She could have been a little bit more rational about the situation.
Yeah, because even a couple other teachers said, like, hey man, they just playing. Like, leave them alone. Let them be free for a minute. Right. So that's his free time. Let him express himself. He didn't go around saying. He didn't. I mean, back in the day, I'm gonna be frank with you. I used to watch wrestling, and the boy used to go around and be like, I'm like, and that basically means suck it. And I'm like, he ain't going around doing that. And we used to do that.
There's a lot of sign language terms for that. So I mean, for saying the word versus doing that, that was very mild. Like
it was him being playful, and he's goofy boy. So he was just like, I don't know what I did. And I'm like, I don't know. Say testicles next time. I don't know.
And then they get mad because he correct about it. They better pick a struggle.
Pick one. Because you hating. Stop hating on my son because he's great. Mm-hmm. And this little one, everything he touches, he can just do. So he is pretty great. He's a great kid. He's got my ADHD part. So he likes to just go. If you don't give him something to do, he gonna find something. And that don't mean it's necessarily gonna be a good thing. So you got to give him something to do. So I honestly felt, I was like, man, she had, and it took me all the way to the end of the year because the school's almost over with. They got like 5 days left, right? And it took me to now, when I got that note to say, she a hater.
Yeah.
She haters.
Because now you didn't level up on your understanding.
And it ain't even that. It's just
limiting yourself.
I'm looking at the notes as a parent, and I never sat back and looked at it from his perspective. So I was limiting myself in my cognitive bias as an adult and just looking at it in an adult context. And I wasn't looking at it like, if I'm a kid at recess, I'm telling you, the little boy, my brother to this day will probably still do that to me. Just to be an ignorant. And he damn near 32 years old and he'll still do it to me. So it's like, you have to learn, you have to look at things in a bigger perspective. And if your perception is, oh, he's just troublemaker, of course, the first thing they do, you're going to label that. So you wanna sometimes take those biases off and look at it from the viewpoints. Like, don't be a dummy now. Don't think like he said he gonna call me. Well, maybe he got stuck in traffic. Like, not that stupid, but use your thought process and use your process of elimination.
I was about to say process of elimination.
Yeah. Don't have cognitive biases that always are limiting to the point where they make it a negative thing for you. So being confident in your wrong, that's a limitation right there.
Yes.
It can cause conflict. And that girl, like we were talking about in an example earlier, was very confident in her wrong. Like, you got new friends, you trying to play me. And it's like, no
congratulations in sight.
We got AP classes. My mama texts me every other day if my grade slipped to a B, because I do. Because he said he wanted all A's. He shouldn't have told me that. He should have said he wanted C's, and then I wouldn't have been texting him. Because they ain't got to get all A's. But if you say you want all A's and that's your goal, guess what I'm going to do?
Check and
push you to your goal.
Yes.
So my other son, he was smart. He like, I want A's and B's. So he was like, I don't want no smoke. So that way if my grade slipped to a B, she ain't going to say nothing to me. But when it slipped with C, now she on my butt.
Right.
So... yeah, but he said he wanted all A's. So if it slips if I see the grade slipping, and honestly, it's only when it say missing an assignment and he has a B. So it's like, if you get that assignment in, you possibly could not have a B, especially if it's like at a 91.2, because they got the regular grading scale, because he got AP classes. Some schools do the 90 to 100, the 80 to 90. No, he's 93, I think, is an A. 92.8 is like an A or something like that. So if you're like missing an assignment and you're at like a 92 or 91, it's like, turn the assignment in. So I'm gonna be on him because he likes to be out. He likes to kick it. He has a social life now. I had a social life at 16. I had a car. Y'all tell him to get his license because he's getting on my nerves. I gotta go pick him up later anyways. He getting on my nerves now. Cause tell him to get his license. He was so adamant he getting a car. I want a car at 16. You ain't even got your license. How you got a car?
And speaking of driving with new teenagers and getting temps, I had mine study, my 17-year-old study for over a year, and he passed the first time. So with him being closer to 18 and not needing actual driving classes, put me in, coach. I do it all. So
Good
he
luck.
actually, what I have
I
him
ain't
doing,
it.
I have him utilize that phone that he cannot keep his face out of, and write in the notes what he learned from the driving experience.
His cognitive bias, and that's most teenagers' cognitive bias is them dang phones.
Yeah.
Because they only limited to what they see on the phone. So if the phone told you it, they believe it.
Right.
So that's their cognitive biases. Our teenagers is using that phone. So this is why we're doing this, because if they run across YouTube and they see us, they might get intrigued and say, what is they talking about? What is these two older ladies?
Right.
We ain't don't say that, but I know they're gonna try to. But
Right.
what is these two seasoned ladies talking about with these shirts on? I like them shirts.
Yeah, look good. Yes, ma'am.
So while doing that, we was hoping to jog somebody's attention, maybe even show their parents. It's just a tool. If you want to use it for your school, if you have a youth group, you might want to use these talks. And don't worry, we'll come and talk to them, and we can even, if with your permission, we'll tape and we'll do the Q&A, and we can really like have a discussion, because it's all about perception. And if we catch people at a young, tender age, we can help them.
Yeah, talk out their different responses, because a lot of the time we say, oh, I know if I see such and such, it's gonna be a problem
on site,
or if I go in this job, if I don't get it, I'm gonna feel this type of way, and then you end up getting a position or a job interview or win the lottery. Just working on some different ways to respond makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Just adding that to your everyday life is working on your response, because it's always going to be a positive and negative. However, even when it's a negative, it's always not as negative as you think it is. It's how hard you're going to take it. Yeah.
Some things I learned this a long time ago, and just even with my religion, like, some things ain't for me. Some lessons ain't for me. Some lessons might have been for the other person, but in there's still a lesson for me.
Yes.
Because there's a blessing. There's a blessing in the lesson. Because if you learn your lesson, you shouldn't have to go through that situation again. Yeah. If you don't learn your lesson, you gonna see it again. It might not be with the same person at the same time, the same thing, but you gonna see that lesson again.
Yes.
So you better take that blessing and that lesson and apply it within your life.
Yeah, definitely apply it.
Yeah. So don't be confident in your wrong. Don't be wrong. Like, I've had people literally tell me something and then be looking at me like confident in they wrong. Like, no, the sky is purple. Yeah. And I'm standing here looking at the sky, and I'm so factual. I'm a factual person. I'm goofy. I'm sarcastic, but I'm a factual person. And it aggravates me if you try to tell me the sky is purple, because I think you're trying to play me for Boo Boo the Fool. And I know the sky is blue. And I'm looking like, the sky is blue. It's not purple. It's purple. And be so confident.
And the sun ain't even close to setting, so ain't no colors
so
merging.
Confident in they wrong, and then like really be confident, and to the point where it creates that traumatized human that's unable to grieve, and then they become a hater. So and sometimes when you're being a sore loser, I honestly, and like I mentioned earlier, I was a sore loser when I was younger. But I used to be the one, like, when my brother would beat me in the game, and he's younger than me. I got a couple younger brothers, and they would beat me in the game, and I would be mad, and I like throw the remote and walk away. Like, that's a sore loser. I was being a hater. That was hating. I hated the fact that he could win, and I was older. And in my head, I felt like I was more privileged because I'm older, so I should know more and I should win.
And to piggyback off of being a sore loser, the same way the government felt about the Black Panther Party, just how they saw so much good going into community that the government, they didn't need the government for anything, and they hated so much to the point where that's why we have so many thugs, we have so many haters based off of past experience and some experience that people are still not willing to come up from, you know, and use the resources behind them and figure out different solutions. Malcolm X and Dr. King, they were one and the same, but totally different, you know, and all these different leaders that we have, even for the presidents, Obama to Trump to Biden, whoever the case may be, is they do what they're supposed to do, and they have roles and responsibility, and not everybody's going to agree.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I agree to disagree at the end of the day.
It's a lot. You have to learn. Like I said, those cognitive biases can stop you. If you learn your love, one thing I do encourage everybody to do is learn their love language.
Yeah.
You know, they got the book out here. There's another book I'm reading, and it's called, the anger. It's the anger book. I think they tried to send me to anger management when I was younger. I'm like, I don't want to do that crap. Like, you making me more angry because you're talking to me like I'm stupid. I ain't stupid. I'm just mad. Like, but that could have been a form of me being traumatized, and I don't even know what for, because I don't know. Yeah. But today I can recognize that when I am angry, to kind of, I have to reevaluate. I have a blessing jar, and I'll go back and read through the blessing jar and say, these are my blessings, so why am I angry? You can't be angry at something that you've been blessed for. Yes. I'll also write down why, and then kind of like work backwards. I'm teaching my son like making good decisions, so he has a worksheet, and one of them was said working backwards. And it's basically start at your goal and then work backwards how you're going to get there. So we do it daily. Just, what's your goal today? I want to have a good day and earn some Cheetos or something, because she be giving them hot fries and stuff. She's still a hater. But so he might say, I want to get the Cheetos and I want to have a good day. Okay, no marks. I want to have a good day. Okay. So what are the things that you're going to have to do starting right now from you just woke up? What's the things that you're going to have to do in order to get a good day? I'm not going to be able to talk out loud. I can't just get out of my seat. I'm not going to be able to yell out. I'm not going to argue with nobody. Like, if you work backwards sometimes, it can help you get to those goals, because then you can align yourself and say, am I doing things that's going to get me closer to my goals or further from my goal?
Right.
And once you align your goals up with what you want, because a goal is just a dream when it's written down. You have to start putting action to it. I read something today, and it was saying, but in the anger book, and he was saying that anger come from unmet needs.
Yes.
So when you have an unmet need, you automatically become angry, and it might be something so simple as you haven't had any sleep. So your kids is getting on your nerves. Your boss is asking you for a deadline. You need to get dinner cooked, and you got this. You don't really have the funds to go buy nothing, and so you are angry.
Yeah, overwhelmed with anger. It seems like it's not enough time.
You ain't got the money, the time, the patience. Mm-hmm. So you become angry, and then that anger might come out in yelling at your kids. It might come out in, some people drink. Some people, that's where those mental health issues come into play at. And that's a big thing in our community. And we're trying to, get the help you need. And if you don't know how, reach out to someone. Yes. We'll find a way. Most health services, they can be covered through your insurance. Yes. So you might not like talking to them. You can change. We don't want you to keep changing, but you got to find the one that
change for a better you. Yes.
Like, you change your underwear every day. Yeah. Why can't you change the way you think? Right. Yeah. I hope you change your underwear every day.
Right.
But just
it definitely starts with you.
Yeah, it starts. So you want to become the change in order so that you can help accept that change. Right. You can't accept change if you don't start trying to help become the change. Mm-hmm. So it's your self-discipline, your communication. Again, perception drives all of that. So you can go into flight or fight mode. That's the survival modes. You got so many different. Steph mentioned earlier about the different modes that you can get into and how that anger can drive that. As well as we're going to talk about metacognition. That's another big word. We're going to talk about that metacognition, but we're going to bring more of that to you next time. But just the word of the day is haters, and that is having anger towards everyone's rise to success and cognitive bias. Look it up yourself. It's a limitation. It limits your perception. Mm-hmm. Your perception is limited by your cognitive bias, because if you think that going to work is hard, you ain't gonna get up and go to work every day. Mm-hmm. Some people are like that. I actually had somebody sign up for unemployment for me. Unemployment fraud. I found that out. I called today to the Ohio Job and Family Services, and they're like, yeah, that's a big thing going on right now. They're stealing identities, and wow. And I'm like, you was gonna file unemployment for me? I've been working at this same job for 15 years. Wow. Like, can I get it in and do my job? Like, if you're not gonna give it, let me do my job.
Yeah, that's
but
something else.
It was fraud. So be careful out there.
Excuse me. It was so easy for them to do the short way, only to get caught. Like, sometimes your path is your path. If it was meant for you to skip the line,
their perception.
By George, you would skip the line.
By golly, George, you'd be there.
Yes.
And I just wish criminals sometimes would look at if they apply that much pressure to something that would help them or their community as we're trying to do, that it could create such a bond. Like
Robin Hood too.
Yeah.
He stole from the rich to give to the poor. We need more Robin Hoods.
Yeah. Some people that are impactful and effectively just using their different styles of communication. Like you want to have effective communication. You want to have effective. You want to be out there and be effective to your community. And you can't be effective if you're out here robbing from Peter to pay Paul, and you robbing from people like me. Like, I ain't broke, but dang, like you could have picked somebody better.
Right,
like
you work hard for what you
and I'm
do.
like, and that could have jeopardized my job. So I'm so glad I caught it. I happened to see it on my email, and I'm like, oh, I have a job in family service. I'm like, if y'all gonna give it to me and I can work, hey, I'm cool with that. I called them like, oh, I can get it and work because I'm almost done. Like, if you gonna give me both, we can take it.
Yeah,
but if not, she's like, oh, you reporting fraud. I mean, if you're not gonna give me both, that's what I'm doing.
So definitely,
In a sense, because I thought you was gonna give me both. You're being a hater because I thought you was gonna give me both. Little hater.
See, that you would have definitely roasted your success on that. Like, a little extra.
Yeah, a little slide me a little extra. Government was trying to slide me a little more.
Right.
And I kind of work for the federal government, so I definitely could have lost my job if I didn't find that out quick enough. So shout out to the little scammers out there. Not really. Get a job. Stop playing. Yeah. If you need some help, you good. If you need some resources, that's what we're here for. That's another thing we're here for. Contact us. Shout us out. We have some people in the bag. We got a lot of different resources. Again, you will see some people on this show. We've even lined up some things where we can do a live taping. So if you want us to come to your school, your event, if you have a topic that you want us to talk about and you want us to break down, we can break that down. But remember, we're going to focus on the perception of it. And we're going to tie in a little nifty little acronym for you, too. Because we're going to find that she good with them. So she good with the acronyms. Yes. But we're going to tie in an acronym, too. But we just want to thank you for coming out and listening to us again. Like.
Yes.
Subscribe. Holler at us on Instagram, Facebook. And we got a
TikTok coming up.
Oh yeah, we got TikTok coming up for y'all. So and a Facebook coming to you, a theater near you soon.
Very soon.
But check us out. Check out some of the events that we do. Check out some of our apparel. We're here for it. If you have a topic that you want to talk about, reach out to us. We would love to, to shout that out. We would love to break that down on perception. Yes. So I'm Ebony Douglas, and I represent ENDTs.
And I'm Stephanie, representing I'm Aware.
And together we are Group Economics.